Yo, what's up? What's up? What's happening? What's happening? Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, what's going on, people? All right, so I know that nobody's on right now, but you know I got to get to it. I'm under a tight schedule today, a real tiny tight schedule. So, all right, let me explain something. I know I promised not to work on the Ender 3 unless I was on camera live, but like in the short I pull up, like I just had so many issues programming the config file. So with that, you know, I just went through the process. You guys see me set up the clipper and everything, but the config just wasn't syncing. So I had to figure out what's going on. I downloaded a basis as far as the for the Ender 3, you know, someone put on the Discord. So I took theirs and took little tidbits of information from off there. So basically, oh, that's you guys don't need to see that. That's you, that's me, that's you guys on YouTube. All right, so let me go here. So basically, you know, this is the full clipper system. As you can see that it's already you know, programmed and everything in the config file. So I'll go into the config file. For some reason, I'm having issues with like connection, you know, with the Raspberry Pi to go in and out, but after it runs for a while, it's pretty straight. So this is the config file. You see basic setup. This is my beacon. Since I have it connected through UART and not the Raspberry Pi connected through USB, because I needed my USBs for certain things. I want to add a camera to it. I have it's connected this way. This is like the serial connection. If you were to connect the USB, if you would connect the Raspberry Pi through Clipper through USB, you would have to find the serial connection. When you do a UART mode, you basically have to find the ACMO for that was just for it to connect to the beacon, because the beacon is connected USB. That was one of the ports I needed for USB, so that's how it finds it. But the actual motherboard is connected through the Raspberry Pi through UART, so that's why it's that weird connection right there. It's not like a serial connection. I'll bring you guys all the way down to the config file so you can see what I'm talking about as far as the Raspberry Pi. So see, so the motherboard, this is the MCU, this is the motherboard, is connected to the Raspberry Pi. This is the actual serial connection. If you were to do a USB, you'll have this. It'll say dev serial something. It's a connect, and then I have a long serial number of that USB port, and then it'll say USB, and that's why mine doesn't look like that, because the MCU is connected through UART. So this is my config file. I was having trouble connecting this config file, and I'll go to the area. All right, so when everything would connect, if I didn't put this information up here, let me see if I can, nah, I don't want to do that. So if I didn't put in the steppers, like I didn't connect my stepper, the stepper X, the stepper Y, and the stepper Z, everything would connect. But as soon as I put those in, it didn't connect. Now, you know, I did a research on throughout the internet and everything, and it all came down to, because it was basically saying that the X, Y, and Z connections were like bad connections, and they couldn't be understood. So when it came down to it, was based off of the kinematics. Like everybody was saying, there's no kinematics, but I clearly had my kinematics programmed to a Core XY. So I clearly had it programmed with all the information, but it was still saying that they were bad pins and it couldn't read the information. What actually happened was, if I go into the notes, is this the sample file? I believe this is the sample file. So this is the sample file that I took from, and they actually had their kinematic set in there as well. But what I did was I went online. Core XY Clipper config, right? So they actually have like a sample example Core XY Clipper config. So I was taking information from here too as well. And for some reason, some strange reason, and it doesn't show in here either, I might have been taken from another one, that the kinematic said none. So that was in my config file, but I just didn't, I kept breezing past it because I kept looking at my config, which had the printer kinematics already in it. So when I went to go run it, I went through it like 1,000 times. Like when I'm telling you, I worked on this thing for like 2 days and I couldn't get it to connect. So this was the issue. I had another kinematic, I had another printer kinematic config in there that said none. And all I did was delete that and everything flowed correctly. So I'm gonna basically break down this config file a little bit before I get into what I actually want to do. Like I want to put a macro in there for the beacon for the contact. And I want to put a nozzle wipe in there because before I do an auto beacon contact is basically an auto Z, like a 0 auto Z. So, but with it, if you have any like filament dangling down, it will take that filament and consider it as being a nozzle and touching down at 0. So I want to kind of program a macro, a nozzle wipe macro. So what we're going to do is we'll do the nozzle wipe first. Let me find it. All right, so this is one that was programmed from someone. It's Waxall. They have a clipper config for a nozzle wipe. So what we have to do is basically get this is the depth of the brush, and we got to put all our information in here. And then we have to get our measurement size for our bucket. I'm pretty sure I had that. Yeah, I have all of that stuff written down here. I took the measurements. So we got to get the measurement for our bucket. And we kind of need to change some things around in here. Now they tell you, if you can see this on the screen, now they tell you from here on, unless you know what you're doing, it's recommended not to change anything. This was made for like a Voron. This actual cleaning nozzle config was made for which Voron? I think it says it on here. If not, it is what it is. Anyway, we're going to configure it to ours anyway. So we're going to change some of these numbers and then put this macro, this G-Code clean nozzle macro, inside of our actual config file. So without further ado, let's get to changing certain things. So the brush, our brush width is 187. I'm using a A1 mini rubber brush. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So if you can see, I don't know, because I don't have a mouse on that actual screen that you can see it. I know you guys are looking on right now, but if you can see on the right side, facing forward, look towards the right, it's in red. It used to be in gray. It's like 2 buckets back there. In between the buckets, I have the A1 and A1 mini brush in between that. That's gonna wipe my nozzle. All right. So the brush size for that is actually the distance of it. So the brush X start variable sample brush X. So we're going to change this to, let me download this and do it in another program. This file, it's just warning me that it's coming from the internet. I'll open this up. Open this up in Notepad. Okay. So we're going to change this to 187. That's the measurement that's the location I got for right there. Brush depth, brush width. That's the brush start. Okay, and the brush width. Let me get my calipers. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm gonna let you guys see what I'm doing. So. Put it at 28 mil. Just in case, I'll take this measurement as well. 6 mil. All right, so the brush width is 28 mil. The brush depth, I'm pretty sure that isn't the measurement I took. The measurement I took really didn't matter, but that's 6 mil as far as how, I guess, thick it is. We go back in here and take the brush depth. Hitting the camera, sorry about that. 2 mil. Yeah, it's about 2 mil. All right, so it's about 2 mil on the brush depth. 2 mil from I left my pencil in there. I gotta have a pencil around. All right, so we got a 2 mil brush depth, which I think doesn't matter because, like I said, this was written for a Voron. So you know, and where the Voron's nozzle wipe is attached to the actual Z-axis plate, so it moves up and down. Our brush is in a stable, like solid position. It's not going to move. It's right where the nozzle is. So I don't think that's going to matter. I'm going to have to adjust that as well. All right. So let's do this. So this is actual our start position, which is 187. The brush width is 28 mil. All right, these are also rear. These are only used if the location rear is fault. You specify custom location and y-axis for your brush. Variable brush depth. So y is 251. Brush front, I have this measurement is 251. All right, brush depth. Like I said, I'm gonna leave it at 0 because right now there is we don't need that. All right, so for the buckets, I have my measurements here. I don't have the bucket start though, which I'll have to program now. So let's do that. So we're gonna have to home the machine. Go out of here. This. And we're gonna home it. Let's see if it still works. We're gonna home all of it. Seems to still work. All right, so now we're homed. I'm going to try and get the location of that bucket over there to where the nozzle starts just to the right of the bucket. put in 251 on the y-axis. I know that's where the y is for where it's going to be as far as wipe and purge. That's 251. So it's back there. Okay. Let me go in there and take a look at it just to make sure we're lined up. Whoa. Second, I have to charge my iPad. Maybe I can just throw it at this calibration. That's that. This is drop the Z, but drop the Z down. So that seems pretty cool there. 154. All right, so if you can see, it's at right here, right here. The X is at 154. So that's location where the bucket starts, 154. Put that into our macro. So, all right, so the bucket start. start location right here. All right, bucket left width is 37.25. Took all these measurements before, so I just physically measured the bucket just so you guys can know where I'm actually getting these measurements from. So it's 37.25. All right. Right bucket width, the same. 37.25. The bucket gap I have measured as 19.25. Some of these numbers might change just based off of how the actual purge bucket is built. So I think that is all I need as far as this goes. So this is saying, this is one thing we gotta take a look at, because our purge bucket, this was made for the purge bucket to be on the left hand side, so it's not, so we gotta pay attention to this. If you're putting your purge bucket at the rear left of the bed, as per default installation, enable true on your location bucket rear variable. If you want to put your purge bucket elsewhere, perhaps the front, then it set it false. See diagrams and descriptions. So, variable location bucket rear, that's true. Purge routine in your bucket enabled, set true, vice versa. True and vice versa. Purge routine in your bucket enabled is true. See, further below on how to set your XY position. Okay, so this is set to true. We don't have to do it false because it's in the rear. It's just we changed our locations as far as where the bucket is. So that's cool. All right. So now, under here is where I want to, it tells you not to do it unless you know what you're doing. So there's certain things that I want to do down here that I'm going to change. Text messages I gotta answer. I'm sorry about that. Okay. All right. First, check if the axis is homed. It's gonna make sure it's homed. All right. Save the G code state and its macro. Okay, set to absolute position of G9, grab max position of Y axis, which is 251. Check if user enable purge option, or, and that's one thing I got to go in the config file to make sure that our the Y axis max is set to 251, because that's exactly where it's supposed to be set at, 251. All right, check, matter of fact, let's do that now, so I don't forget. It is set at 251, so we're good. All right. Check if user enable purge option or not. Purge option will be enabled. Randomly select left or right bin. Yeah, it's going to randomly select the purge in the left or right bin, which is fine. Raise Z for travel. We don't necessarily need to do that, but maybe, yeah, maybe, because if we go from the home location to the purge bucket, we don't want to be scraping along the bed. All right, check if user chose to use rear location. Yep, we chose to use that. Position for purge, randomly select middle or left or right bucket. Cool. Perform purge if temp is up to minimum temp. If not, it will skip and continue existing resting macro. All right, so this is where I kind of want to adjust this. So what I'm going to do is after this, once it's selected here in this location, let me see, I can enter it, tab. See if tab worked. Put the M here. No, I want to get it lined up exactly. All right, cool. That should be lined up. Yep. So what I'm going to do is, if you can look at here, I went over to the G codes and Clipper. At this location, I want to set the temperature. So what I'm going to do is put a set extruder temperature and weight M109, and I'm going to set that to 250, something high, something, because if I'm using something other than PLA, I want it to be able to purge it easily. So maybe like 250, 260. I'm gonna set this to 260, the temperature to 260. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna set it to 260. I'm kind of confused on set extruder temperature and weight. It's just slipping my mind what the T and the S is right now. I've set this a bunch of times, but I'm just lost right now. Confused at what those numbers are right now. You know what I could do? Instead of doing that, you guys might not be able to see it, but you guys may not be able to see it. But I have it in my config files. Let me let you see the screen. Alright. So it is actually in my files. Oh, so either one of those, setting it to a direct temp, or yeah, I'll do it like this. I'll set it to, because that's why I was confused. Why did it have two? One is temperature and one is what you want to set it to. I don't know. So I'll leave this up here and I'll work with that. So I'm going to take this. And that way, whatever material that I'm printing, it'll bring it up to that temperature so it can purge it easily. Alright, so nozzle underscore. I gotta put an S in front of it. I can't forget to do that. Temperature underscore initial underscore layer. Boom. Set. And I'm just thinking here, I'm wondering, should I do that? Because the only reason I'm thinking about not doing that is because I may just run this and it won't have a G code file. Like, you know, it'll be just like if I did an auto Z, what would be the initial layer? You know, if I just went to go do an auto Z without printing anything, what would be the initial layer? So, okay, what we're gonna do, change that then. So we're just gonna set it. All right, so we'll just set that to let's do 260. All right. So we'll just set that to 260. All right, so it's gonna heat up the nozzle right here. It'll wait, and I'll put that behind there. No, we don't need to do it. I'll just explain it. So it'll just wait till it gets to 260 degrees Celsius, and then before it goes to, if you look into this location before it says perform, purge if the temp is up to temp. So we know it will be up to temp. So it'll be up to 260 degrees. So what it does here now, it'll purge. It'll do a purge length. Purge, I don't know if I had to set that or it's already set. Whatever length is in there, it's probably noted up top somewhere. It'll have a ooze dwell. So it'll let the ooze just ooze out whatever's going to ooze out from the nozzle. So now it's going to position itself for the wipe. So what I want to do is, so the G92 is going to reset the extruder to 0 right after the ooze dwell. And then I'm going to put in another M90S. Would have stopped everything from maybe 170. If I drop the temp down to 170, it'll still be hot enough that it won't cause a blockage, but it won't ooze. So I think 170 is cool. We'll test it out. So right there, it's going to hold that position. It's going to hold till it drops down to 170. Then it gets into the next location to where it's going to position for the wipe, either left or right. So that will cut off any of the hanging purge material. Go to the Z brush top, brush start. Check to see if it's in a real location. Move nozzle down the brush. Z brush top. It's at 0, so it doesn't have to do that. It's going to perform the wipe back and forth. Once it's clean, it should be clean from there. Store G code and raise. See, raise error will stop any macros that clean nozzle. Reference and proceeding safety. All right, so that's all I really wanted to add to that. Put in all the numbers. Okay, I'm putting in all the numbers. G code macro clean. So we gotta turn this into a macro file. Save it as a note right now. I gotta say the CFG files. See if any of you guys are on. Take this piece of this one. All right, cool. All right, so save them as CFG files. I got a question. Trying to see if I can create it from the note. Step 1, step 2, configuration file, That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought it was that easy. All right, no problem. All right, so we're gonna take this. You guys catch me in my research more. I just want to make sure I'm doing things correctly. I can also drag it in from the thing too, so I should just do it that way. I'll figure that out later. Let me go ahead. Add a file. Underscore, I don't know. We'll see. It'll let me know if it's there or not. It's an underscore in there. It's going to reject it. All right. Data, big, yeah, it's in there, definitely in there. Put CFG on that, and that's the problem. All right, let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. Get ready to hit this emergency stop if something breaks. I think I should put a home axis G code in there. See what we got here. So if you can see over here, we got it heating up to 260. It's going to heat up. It's going to heat the 260 first. It's going to go through its purge mode. Let's see what it's doing in this over here. It's doing the clean nozzle macro. I gotta tune the PID on this too. It's see, that's coming all over the place. Like the temp is jumping down. I gotta run the PID tuning on that. Now it's going back and forth. It's going over there to purge. Or is it done now? So I'm gonna have to change where it's purging at. Excuse me. So it's still at 260. Still purging. Alright. So the purge location is wrong inside the macro. We can adjust that. Check this out real quick. Basically closed right there. Alright, so let me run something. Let me home it. Alright, so basically it was it stopped. So we gotta go back into this macro and make an adjustment. Because it kept the temperature at 260. It was definitely supposed to drop down to 170 before it did what it had to do. So we'll go in here. I thought it was still sitting there purging, but all right, what do we have? Ah, that's why this isn't on. Let's see if we can get this in here with this. So it drops. It's supposed to drop down to 170 right there. So we'll save and restart that. Alright. So we're all set. So we just homed. You know what? Let me go back in here. Because when it does this, Alright, so let me see. We got that up there, clean now. G-Cool, clean now. Please home axis. So I still want to do that first. I want it to. Something within the heart of the G-Cool. Let's go back here. Variable location, true. All right, we'll get rid of that, man. It's always going to want you to not save that. Alright, so before this, we got to make sure, like, whatever G-Code we run, we're going to run this nozzle clean. It has to be a home before it. So, home all axes. Alright, so we're home now. We're going to run a clean nozzle G-Code. Across the back, heating up to 260. Hopefully it drops down before it starts doing its wipe. It drops down to 170. Let's take a look at that. There's a bunch of macros I gotta add, like a PID tuning for the nozzle and one for the heat bed. So it's a bunch of macros I gotta add this because the way it's heating up is weird. get back here. Let's find out what I'm actually doing wrong inside of here. Take this out here. Put it here. Moment. Cool, we're gonna run a clean nozzle. I don't even know if this thing is purging. I will have to go in there and take a look at it and see if the extruder is turning. waiting, but this isn't turning to 170. There we go. So now it dropped down to 170. Cool, 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 cool. So once it reaches 170, it should clean the nozzle and it should be done. And after we're done this section, we'll go to do the contact. Yeah, I gotta set that PID. This is kind of terrible. It's taking a long time for this. And it's jumping up, the percentages are jumping up and down. Like it's fighting to get the 170 right now. Matter of fact, while it's doing that, download a couple of these macros to get the PID to it. So if I gotta tune the PID on here. All right, let's get that macro. Cause it's never gonna let it drop. It's holding at 175. We'll do it like this. Copy here. Alright, here. See how it's holding in 175? Let me just restart this. Right now we're just doing some PID tuning to get it where it needs to go. Big. See if this works a little better. A moment. It's still. Did I not save that? It's in there. Alright, so let me take this out of here. Alright, and put it here. See if that'll work better like that. I just want it to drop to 170 before it starts wiping. We'll see if it does it this time. With the PID tuning, it's going faster with this anyway, so. Should purge and then it should wait. Okay, so it's dropping to 170 now. wipe. Wiping by now. I might have cut off the G code for it to do what it's got to do. There we go. Boom. Perfect. Perfect. That's what I wanted to do. Maybe the process is a little too slow for me, but it did what it was supposed to do. All right, so it heated up to 260. It purged this material. Once it purged, it waited till it was at 170. So then when it wiped, it's a clean nozzle. All right, bet. So now all of that's done with. Get rid of this stuff. Macros, search that later. Click config. That's where we're at. G codes to heat and nozzle. I'm gonna keep that around maybe. Clean nozzle. All right. So get this off the screen. All right. So this is the beacon contact. We got to put this information in here in order to get the beacon contact to work. So, step one. We got all of this basic requirements. Beacon must be approaching a metallic target. Yep. Beacon must be rigidly coupled to the hot end. It is. Contact workflows, contact and induction, proximity homing can be used together to optimize your workflow. When operator, yada yada yada, just gives you the workflow as far as getting auto Z. Contact Z offset and auto calibration. So this is the information we got to put inside of our beacon. All right. So if we go to our printer config file, we go into our beacon, which is at the top. We got to add that information in here. Mesh main direction X. Mesh runs. Let me see something. I think I took that information out because when I went to go, oh, that's good. All right. So mesh runs 2. It runs twice. So when I'm doing, and it's been running wrong. So if you see me do a bad mesh, so basically, if and it's beacon, the beacon probe is an eddy current from. I'm pretty sure anybody watching knows. So what it does is when it does the bed mesh, it takes the metallic surface and reads it like a probe. So I'll go into that. So we gotta home all the axes first before we do that. All right. So it's gonna home all the axes. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make a bed mesh, and this is the way the beacon probe does it. So it's reading the bed mesh right now. It's gonna do it twice, so it's gonna go along the x-axis one time, back like that, all the way to the back. I don't have my speed that high. You can raise the speed up to do the bed mesh as well. I think I got it on about 15 points. That's why it's taking so long too. So now it's going the other way. It's coming back up this way. And by the end of it, it'll give me a nice level bed reading. If my bed's level. So now, take this off. Load the bed mesh for me. That's crazy. Oh, my computer's frozen. That's why. This computer does this after a while. I have no clue why. And it's supposed to be my most powerful computer. There we go. So, let me get that off screen. So this is the bed mesh again for me. Like, yeah, it's off. It's off by about 1 mil. Like, it's low 1 mil, but it's, you know, 1 mil isn't bad. You know, it's a bit above here, so it's about 1 mil off. But that's it. Extremely accurate. Extremely accurate. So when I go to 3D print, I should get a good first layer. All right. So let's go back to this config file. Let's go to our beacon contact. So this is the information we have to add. So our beacon, our home method has to be contact. Home method with home is proximity. Home auto calibrated unhomed. All right. So save home position G28. Some suggested configuration option for this workflow. All right, so the G28 homing command can be configured to use induction proximity via beacon model loaded from the configuration file and calibrated previously. This was the traditional operating mode of beacon. So it's saying basically home auto calibrate never. I guess that's the workflow for that. This is for the Auto Z unhomed. Do a firmware update. I'm pretty sure my firmware is all the way updated. I just did it. So contact. All right, beacon now provides Safe Z Home equivalent functionality for easy probe, offset aware, switching between induction and contact homing modes. The existing Safe Z Home section should be removed before adding the new settings. These are recommended defaults for a full contact workflow and should be added to the beacon section. So we gotta take this right here, and I gotta get rid of the Safe Z section inside of my actual config file. So I'm gonna take all of this information, copy it. See how 30, speed 300. Print start G code. The following is a summarized recommendation for the sequence of events when the print start, which will need to be mixed in with your existing start routine. So this is called bed mesh clear. I'll don't have a print start routine, which I should add to my config file. I haven't printed anything yet. Wipe nozzle, call if available. I will change that to clean nozzle. Change this to clean nozzle. And prime nozzle, calling on the macro to purge your prime nozzle. All right, so this would all be in the start G code, added to the start G code. Right now, I just want to test this out, so I'm going to copy this. Already did that. From my fluid file, under my beacon, I'm going to add that information. That's not it. I'm going to go to my safe Z. My safe Z home is 115 by 115. Z hop is 3. I'm gonna leave the Z hop at what they suggested it, which is 5. Right. When did it say I have to replace my beacon? Now becomes Z, safe Z home. Okay. Put this in here. All right, and let's get rid of our save Z home. See how this printer reacts to this information. I swear, I hope it doesn't slam into this thing. Get ready to hit the get ready to hit the emergency stop. It's all good. It worked. Still trying to get the Z information. Sample spread too large. Let's see. So what the beacon contact does, and I gotta kind of I gotta see what's going on here. So I got it. Okay. So what that error was basically was saying that the sample spread was too large is that it taps it 3 times to get an average of what the Z offset may be. So to tap it 3 times. If between those 3 times it moved too much, it's not, it's not a consistent, it's not gonna be super equal. It's just gonna be somewhere in the range. It'll reset itself and continue to do it again until it gets something that's like an average consistent. It's not gonna be perfect every time, but it's gonna be an average consistent. What it just basically told me was when it tapped to get the auto Z, the range of the Z was too far off for it to give me an actual Z offset, if that makes any sense. So let me go in here and I'm gonna go inside the actual shop and see what how it's tapping and how everything looks. I'll meet you guys over there. All right, so you might not be able to hear me good, but I am over here and I'm gonna test it out. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna slow that speed down some. For some reason, it feels like it's hitting something. Cut it in half. See how for 3. What was this thing? All right, so got it at that time. I just brought down the Z hop. Let me do it again. I guess it won't do it again. All right. So yeah, I just had to basically turn down the Z hop. I'll show you what I did. The Z hop was a bit too far. Wrong screen. So what I am going to do, I'm going to go back up to the top here. So the Z hop right here was at 5. I put it to 3. I am going to put that speed back up, see how we look with that. All right, so it's saying it's still too large. So I think is what I'm having issues with is just the it's saying the sample spread is too large. Turn that speed back down. Let's do 20. Wrong computer. 20. Save and restart. And I'm doing all of them. I could just do the Z, but I'm doing all of them just so I can get like a real life situation. $20 is cool, but it had to tap too many times. So I think I'm just going to do 15. 15 seems to work every single time. So let's go to 15. Do 15 for the Z hop speed. No, not 145. Save and start that. That sensorless homing too. I gotta put a G code in there in order to, because it knocks pretty hard. Yeah, 15 works pretty decent. All right. So that's what we wanted to get done today. It's been a fun ride, man, but I pretty much think this is going to be the last live. It's a lot of little minor tweaks here and there. Just, you know, advanced features of the 3D printer. If decide to do something live, then definitely go live and do it if I feel like it's that much of vital information. But the 3D printer is built. The Ender 3, it wasn't a Pro. The Ender 3 is now converted to an Ender 3 NG version 1.2. And yo, the sense of accomplishment, the sense this is my first build of a 3D printer. I've done modifications, but this is the first build, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So I definitely appreciate everybody who rock with me throughout this build. We'll definitely be doing more builds. I have the Cobra Max. For anybody who's watching and was asking me questions about the Cobra Max, I got some modifications I'm gonna do to that. It's some like super modifications. It's things. I got a router. I'm gonna be creating a new plate for it, because I'm gonna install my own version of a X linear rail. So you know, and I'm gonna flip. If you guys have seen my Cobra Max, I have a Sherpa Mini extruder on there that's flipped backwards because of the way that the original hot end mount plate was. So I'm gonna do a new design for that, route that out, cut it with the CNC routing mill I have, and replace that plate so I can turn that extruder around the way, face it the way it's supposed to face, and on top of that install linear rails. I'm also going to install a Bigtreetech eddy on there, the eddy current, so it'll be the same process. It's not going to be the same exact as the Beacon probe, but they do have some of the same features. They do have a contact type of thing where the nozzle becomes the actual probe for the printer. So I'll be doing that and just totally reconstructing the hot end. And anything that I create on there, especially the plate, if the plate works successfully, you know, it will be available for purchase, and you guys will be able to buy that from us. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. Oh, everybody was you know what? I was looking for chats, but the chat screen was just like blank. So thanks, Armor 3D, man. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all your help. You know it, man. I watched a lot of your videos. Your videos help me. As far as I am going to put the enclosure on it. So just if you don't mind, I was going to do like a tutorial version of it rather than a live stream. So I'm going to put that together. I have that ready. I already have all my LEDs connected to get that going. That works, Subaru. Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate for you, but it has always helped me. The PID tuning, it's definitely it helped here like almost immediately. I was having a bunch of fluctuations, and then I wanted it to come down to 170, and it was maintaining 175. But after I did the PID tuning, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Yeah, Moon Howler, get it. Look into this build. The build is definitely, it's an easy build because RH3D he put together such easy step-by-step manual that it's almost as if you're buying the Ender 3 Pro and you have all the parts, you bought the printer and you're just putting it together. You can definitely do this within one day. If you guys can see this, the 18th stream, and you know, it's because I just wanted to do everything on camera. A lot of the tuning and the setting that I did was off camera because I knew it would be a headache. But yeah, if you're thinking about do this build. This build seems like it was made specifically, not like it definitely was made specifically for it, but this is an awesome printer. Ask Armor 3D, man. He's got a bunch of them, man, and he does his thing. Optimus Prime, huh? Appreciate it, Moon Howland. Yeah. Yeah, Drew, the you want to put that that other linear rod on there. I'm sorry, the Z rod. You want to put the other second Z rod on there. That's good for this printer anyway, cause it stops a lot of the Z jamming. It's an even thing. When I first that was one of my first installs too. When I first installed it, I got a lot of like my motherboard wasn't prepared for it. I don't know if I bought a used. I thought I brought that Ender. It was an Ender 3 Pro. I brought it new, and it was a lot of like when I installed the second Z rod, the power coming from the pin, I guess, couldn't handle it for some reason. But I ended up ordering another the 3.2.7 board. I think that's what it is. I might be saying the numbers wrong, but I actually got the a new board and it worked perfect. Yeah, it definitely makes a difference. It's less of, like the ringing, and it's less of the Z jamming. It goes up evenly. It's just way better to have on your 3D printers. I know a lot of them. Pardon me. I definitely have a Bamboo Lab A1 Mini. They add so much stuff to there. So like having one Z rod, it is a rod in there. Having one Z rod just works for that. But dual Z rods, man, they're the way to go. If you have the option to do it, do it. All right, everybody. So this isn't the last live, but it is the unless there's something crazy different I'm adding to this printer, because I am going to do the MMU unit, the multi-material unit. I am going to do that. I just want to get to it. Like, I want, if I run into obstacles, I want to be able to curse and blow my top and everything. Sometimes that helps me get through some of these builds and installs. Well, that was my first build, but some of these modifications, But I do definitely do video recording and everything, and put out a tutorial version of it. Yeah, they definitely help that as far as those layer lines. Another thing with layer lines too, if you want to try and see less, maybe print with thinner layer lines. A lot of times when people are creating certain things like these, like this incredible Hawk that I painted as well. I used thinner layer lines, and it was less that you could see, but they are still there. Well, I'm definitely going to add the multi-material unit. Once you guys see me posting like videos of it, maybe shorts or even certain videos of it, just when I do my overall review of this whole build process, I'm going to have the enclosure on it. What else? I didn't add my screen yet. I do have a screen that I got to install in there that I'm going to, and I may do a live on that, adding the clipper screen. That's kind of easy. So I'll be putting a clipper screen on that. So I'll be doing all of my my modifications, my adjustments from the clipper screen. So definitely MMU, clipper screen, enclosure. Those are the extra that I'm going to be putting on there. I might even put the skirt. I saw Armor put the skirt on his. I might put the skirt on it. Yeah, Moon, I get busy. I get rough with the curse words sometimes, man. But it helps. It helps get through the mods. Yeah, it your Ender can definitely get up to some speeds with the wheels, but the linear rails just it allows you to keep testing its limits. the smooth movements, but you got to remember to keep them lubricated. It's the lubrication oil for your linear rails. Make sure you do that in any of your rods. Just make sure you keep them lubricated with the grease. But they're it's definitely improving. Like on my X, I didn't put them on the Y-axis on my Ender 3 Pro, which I will do, and I might even do a tutorial video on that. But I put it in the X-axis, and when I do my my calibration, it's slipping my mind right now. I'm gonna just call it the noise calibration, the vibration calibration. If anybody can fill in on me, when I do that on the X-axis, it has a bigger rating of the acceleration being higher than the Y-axis. Yeah, yeah, the clipper screen is cool. I just always got to remember how to convert back to get to my regular PI when I want to do some terminal work. A lot of times I forget how to go back into the regular PI because the clipper screen becomes like the PI. Like not unless the last time I used clipper screen was about a year ago. Now, unless they made an adjustment to where they made it easy, you could just press a button and go back to your regular PI. Yeah, and watch those wheels too, Drew. Like what those on the linear rails. The actual the blocks that travel on the linear rail, when you take them off, make sure you be careful not to lose any of those balls inside of those. It's not much to replace those things, but you don't want. I've done that a bunch of times. Take the blocks off, and then you just hear because all the balls dropped out on them. Pause. Resonance compensation and input shaping. Thank you, Sue. Definitely. That's what I meant. My input shaping. Yeah, my X-axis was definitely rated to do a higher acceleration and printing speeds than the Y-axis. And then linear rails on the Z. I never really even appreciated that until I made a comment, and then it was stated to me like it helps on the Z-axis as well. Think about it. A lot of the like when you're doing I was just doing this thing inside of here. Like when you're doing Z hops and stuff like that, you want your Z hop to be able to keep up with how fast your X and Y axis is moving. Oh, T, what's up, man? I didn't know that was you, man. Oh, you're a racer too. I see you like Subarus. Those are the fast cars, man. Yeah, but definitely, yeah, T, and you on here, man. Thanks, man. Thanks for rocking out with me. Thanks for helping me throughout this whole thing, man. Very much appreciated. I got a bunch of different accounts too. So I gotta definitely follow you, man. We gotta stay in touch. When I get back into working live inside of the workshop, I got a new setup to where I can make Bluetooth calls. Maybe we can do a type of link up with that. But yeah, sorry guys, I'll get on live. Maybe we could research some 3D printers together and stuff like that from time to time. I'll definitely be on. This is my channel. I love 3D printing. I love doing this, man. And I honestly want to get to the point where this is what I do rather than, having a job coming here and driving my schedule to the roof. I'd rather drive my schedule to the roof of this than what I do. Even though if you guys ride the railroad, I keep you safe out there. So I love doing that too. Yep, definitely full time. Definitely wanting something that I can do full time. But love talking to you guys, man. I appreciated this. Man, the sense of accomplishment is crazy. Everything's working, everything's ready to go. I just gotta run some filament through this. You'll see a bunch of shorts, a bunch of video of me just tuning in, honing in this printer. And once I get the multi-material unit going, we got, like I said, we got the website, jedovishop.com. We sell 3D printed products, crochet, and home handmade jewelry. This will be one of the printers that's a part of our whole contest. All right, you as well, T. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. Check you out.